You might think a diode laser is just good for engraving, but this diode laser from xTool can accurately and quickly cut through more than 9mm MDF in just a few passes. It's perfect for template making in the workshop, so stay tuned and I will tell you more and show you how. In this box is the xTool D1 Pro with a 20-watt diode laser. I will do a quick unboxing and assembly during which I will tell you more about this laser engraver and cutter. With this unit also came the RA2 Pro rotary attachment, however I will review this in a separate video. All the parts are extremely well packaged. Assembly is required, but it only takes about 20 minutes or so. All the tools are provided except for a pair of scissors to trim a few cable ties. The instruction manual is in color, very detailed and easy to follow. What makes the D1 Pro so special is the 20-watt diode laser module. This is achieved by combining 4 5-watt lasers into one. xTool claims that it can cut 10mm basswood and 8mm black acrylic in one pass. However, I do not have any of these materials on hand, so my test will be with different materials that I typically use in the workshop. Speed claims are 24,000 mm per minute or 400 mm per second. The X and Y gantries run on steel rails and steel wheels for greater accuracy and longer product lifetime. The unit is equipped with limit switches which avoid your machine bumping into the rails and eventually destroying itself. And it is also useful for absolute positioning in your laser control software. The quality and good looks of this unit is really up there with the best. The fit and finish of the parts are beautiful and everything just bolted together seamlessly. I also received the air assist pump that greatly reduces burn marks on your engraving and cutting. It is really rather quiet, can pump 30 liters of air per minute, and it comes with a few accessories of its own to easily fit it to the laser module. Switching it on and off is a manual affair and cannot be controlled via your laser control software. This is a slight drawback since I found myself more than a few times not having switched it on and getting some unnecessary burn marks on my cuts. xTool has its own what they call Creative Space all-in-one laser cutter software for design, editing, laser processing and machine control. It's okay for the beginner but nothing to write home about. You need the software to set up the unit initially and run software updates, but after that I recommend that you get the much more powerful and useful Lightburn software. It will cost you about $60 or so at the time of this video, but certainly worth it. Luckily the xTool D1 Pro supports it, however you do need to download a profile for it to load it into Lightburn. The Creative Space software does have a very useful project section that has a few cool projects for you to try. After initial setup, I used the Creative Space software to do a quick cut of a supplied 3mm basswood ply sample. It is a very soft wood and cuts like butter. I messed up the first try when the wood moved, but on the second attempt I taped it down and it worked flawlessly with the provided settings in the Creative Space software. Of course, I immediately wanted to try and cut something much thicker. This is 9mm MDF that it cuts in 2 passes. I was impressed for sure. There are 2 things I would recommend if you get this machine. That is the honeycomb working panel, especially if you are going to do a lot of cutting, but more importantly, since this is an open frame laser cutter, is the xTool enclosure or build your own. Using a laser can be very dangerous, and I feel an enclosure with the ability to exhaust and filter smoke and fumes to be essential for your safety and for your health. After setting up the unit with Lightburn, I continued to create a few test cuts for different MDF thicknesses, in this case 6mm and 9mm. This helped me to determine the ideal speed and power setting for each material thickness to get the cleanest and most accurate cut for future reference. This brings me to the part where I make a template for cutting accurate holes for mounting speaker drivers in enclosure baffles, and is one of the main reasons that I'll be using this laser cutter as part of my regular useful tools in the workshop. The next minute or so of footage will show you how I cut a template for a Levache 3-inch full range driver, and the fit at the end is perfect. Something else I also want to try is using the laser to cut a pattern or even my logo into veneer to decorate a speaker and make it a bit more interesting. The opportunities here are only limited by your imagination. This next test run is to determine engraving speed and power for birch plywood. As said before, it is really useful to do these test runs on the materials you will most likely use as a quick reference in the future. I did try some other materials such as an anodized aluminium ruler, just engraving my logo. It was a bit faint, but the anodizing on this ruler is not very deeply etched. The last engraving I tried was a painted spirit devil. The laser removes the paint and leaves a rather dirty residue, but it wipes off and gives a perfect result at the end. To conclude, I am truly impressed by the xTool D1 Pro. It looks good, cuts thick wood for template use accurately, and can engrave fast. In the description below is a link to the xTool D1 Pro and a list of its accessories and discount codes. Thank you xTool for sending out this unit to review and try out. Thank you all for watching, and please like, comment and subscribe. If you subscribe and leave the comment "I subscribed," I will do my best to reply with a thank you and a thumbs up on your comment. Ring the notification bell to also get notified of any new videos coming out, and make sure not to miss any of my next videos. Until next time, adios.